The farmland of southwestern Minnesota runs flat and open for mile after mile, a checkerboard of fields that seems to have no edge. And then the ground opens. A river has cut a deep green valley into all that level country, and the trail drops down into a band of old trees, cool and shaded and full of birdsong. This is Kilen Woods State Park, a small pocket of wild forest hidden in the middle of Jackson County. For the next hour, we are going to walk it end to end, along the bluffs and down beside the water. Let us place ourselves on the map first. Kilen Woods sits in the far southwestern corner of Minnesota in Jackson County, a short drive from the town of Lakefield. The park is small by the standards of the state park system, about 548 acres in all. Its whole reason for being is the Des Moines River, which loops through the property and carves the valley you see around you. Everything here, the woods, the bluffs, the trails, follows the shape of that river. Walking in, the first thing you notice is how sudden the change is. One moment you are in prairie and cropland, and the next you are inside a real forest with a canopy overhead. The valley walls rise on either side, some of the bluffs standing roughly 150 feet above the water. Old oaks and basswoods lean out over the slope, their roots gripping the steep ground. It feels less like southern Minnesota and more like a piece of the North Woods that wandered south and stayed. The park carries a family name, and it is worth knowing whose. In 1945, the Minnesota legislature authorized a new state park along this stretch of the Des Moines River. Most of the land was bought from a man named Kilen, and the park took his name. The purchase was not finished quickly. It was completed in 1951, after several years of assembling the pieces of ground that would become the park. As you walk these trails, remember that this ground was farmed and settled long before it was protected. The land was not one clean parcel but a patchwork stitched together from many owners. That history is part of why the woods survived it all. Steep river bluffs are hard to plow, so the trees on these slopes were often left standing while the flat land all around was turned to crops. What you are walking through is, in a sense, the land nobody could farm. When the state assembled the park, the purchase included 21 pioneer homestead woodlots. In the settlement days, a farm out on the open prairie needed a source of wood, for fuel, for fence posts, for building. A patch of river valley timber was precious, so families held onto these wooded lots even as they broke the prairie into fields. Gathered together, those old woodlots became the core of Kilen Woods. The forest you see is, quite literally, the woodpile of a whole generation of homesteaders. The trail leads us down now, closer to the river itself. The Des Moines is not a large river here, not this far up its course, but it is steady and patient, and it has been at work a long time. Every bend you pass was carved by water moving grain by grain of soil downstream. Listen for the change in sound as the trail nears the bank. The forest quiets and the running water takes over. It helps to know where this water comes from and where it is going. The Des Moines River rises in southwestern Minnesota, near Lake Shedek, not very far north of where we stand. From there, it runs for roughly 525 miles, crossing the whole width of Iowa from northwest to southeast. At the far end of that journey, it empties into the Mississippi, near Keokuk, in the corner where Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois meet. The modest stream beside this trail is the young beginning of a very long river. Look closely at the shape of the land as you walk. The slopes here are steep and folded, cut by small ravines that carry snowmelt and rain down to the river. This kind of rugged, wooded terrain is rare in this part of the state, and it is exactly what gives the park its character. The trails are ranked as moderate, with some rugged stretches, precisely because the ground refuses to lie flat. Every climb and drop is the river valley reminding you it is here. To understand why the country up above is so flat, you have to go back to the ice. During the last great glaciation, vast sheets of ice ground across this region, flattening the land and leaving behind thick beds of soil and gravel. When the ice melted, it left a nearly level plain, which is the farmland you drove through to get here. The river then went to work on that fresh surface, slowly cutting the valley we are walking. Flat prairie above, carved valley below, both are the signature of the glaciers. Notice how the forest does not simply stop. Along the upper edges of the valley, the trees begin to thin, and grass appears between them. This is a transition zone, a place where woodland gives way to prairie. It is one of the richest kinds of habitat there is, because creatures from both worlds meet along its border. Keep an eye on these edges. They are where you are most likely to see wildlife moving between cover and open ground. The wider region around the park has a name that captures its origin. This is the Prairie Pothole region, a landscape dimpled with thousands of shallow wetlands left behind when the glaciers melted. Each pothole is a small depression that fills with water, a scattering of ponds and marshes across the plains. Together, they form one of the most important wetland systems on the continent. Kilen Woods sits at the edge of this pockmarked, water-dotted country. Here the path runs close beside the Des Moines, through the flat bottom ground of the floodplain. The main trail through the park, the Rock Creek Trail, follows the river for much of its length, and this is some of the easiest and prettiest walking here. In spring, these low woods flood, and the river spreads out among the trees. In autumn, like now, the ground is firm and covered in fallen leaves. The river is your constant companion along this stretch. Those thousands of potholes give the region a nickname, the Duck Factory. The Prairie Pothole Country of the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Iowa produces most of North America's ducks, generation after generation, from these shallow prairie wetlands. In spring and fall, the skies fill with waterfowl moving through, using the ponds as resting and nesting grounds. It is one of the great gatherings of birds anywhere in the world. The river corridor here is part of the pathway they follow. Walking beneath these trees, it is easy to forget how unusual they are. Across southwestern Minnesota, the original landscape has been almost completely transformed. More than 99% of the state's native prairie has been plowed under, and more than 90% of its wetlands drained, most of it turned to farmland. That is why a place like this matters so much. These woods are a narrow survivor, a strip of the original country that the plows never reached. Step back and picture the park from above. All around it stretch the fields of Jackson County, corn and soybeans running to the horizon in every direction. In the middle of that farmland lies this green ribbon of River Valley, a wild island in a working landscape. For the birds and animals of the region, it is a refuge and a corridor, a place to shelter and a route to travel. Small as it is, its value comes precisely from being surrounded by so much open ground. Now the trail climbs again, up out of the deep forest toward the higher, sunnier ground. As we rise, the trees begin to spread apart and grass fills the spaces between them. We are climbing into Oak Savanna, one of the special features of this park. The change in light is immediate, from the green shade of the valley to open sky and scattered crowns. Take a moment at the top to look back down over the treetops. Oak Savanna is a landscape that sits between forest and prairie. Instead of a closed canopy, you find scattered, wide-crowned oaks standing alone in a sea of grass and wildflowers. Here the dominant tree is the bur oak, a tough, thick-barked survivor that can withstand the prairie fires that once swept through. Among the oaks grow wild plums and hawthorns, thickets that feed the birds. It is one of the rarest habitats in the Midwest, and this park protects a piece of it. On the open ground, the trail cuts through tall grass that catches the wind. In late summer, some of these prairie grasses stand 7 feet high, towering over a walker on the river bottom. Now in November, they have gone golden and dry, rattling softly as you pass. Grasshoppers scatter ahead of your boots and small birds flush from the cover. This is what much of Minnesota once looked like, before the fields. The grasses here have names worth knowing. Big bluestem and Indian grass are the giants of the tallgrass prairie, sending roots many feet deep into the soil. Among them bloom the wildflowers of the prairie, blazing star with its purple spikes, and coneflowers turning their heads to the sun. These deep-rooted plants built the black soil that made this region such rich farmland. In a sad irony, the very richness of the prairie is what led almost all of it to be plowed. As we walk this high prairie ground, we are passing close to something genuinely rare. Set inside the park boundaries is a small protected tract, a scientific and natural area, only about 13 acres in size. It exists to guard a single, easily overlooked plant. You would walk right past it without a botanist to point it out. But that modest patch of prairie holds one of the reasons Kilen Woods is nationally significant. The plant is called prairie bush clover, a slender member of the pea family. It is federally listed as a threatened species, which means it is at real risk of disappearing. It grows only in the tallgrass prairies of 4 Midwestern states, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin, and only at a scattered handful of sites. As the prairie was plowed, its habitat all but vanished, and the plant went with it. The little natural area here at Kilen Woods protects one of its surviving strongholds. This is the lesson these trails keep teaching. A place does not have to be huge to be important. A few hundred acres of steep, unplowed river valley can hold a forest, a savanna, a prairie remnant, and a threatened plant, all at once. Each of these survived here for the same reason, because this ground was too rugged or too small to convert. In a landscape of vast fields, the leftover corners have become the last refuges. It is worth imagining this same ground in the warm months. In spring and summer, the prairie and savanna come alive with wild flowers, purple coneflowers, butterfly milkweed, blazing star, and gray-headed coneflowers among the grasses. Butterflies and bees move over them, and the whole slope hums with insects. Even now, with the flowers gone to seed, you can read the promise of that color in the dry stalks. A November walk is a quieter version of a place that blazes in July. Now the trail carries us toward the highest point of the walk. The ground rises steadily, and through gaps in the trees you begin to catch glimpses of the valley falling away below. This is the climb to the park's most famous viewpoint. The footing gets rugged near the top, so take it slowly. What waits at the summit is the best view in the whole park. The Overlook has a wonderful name, Dinosaur Ridge. From a wooden platform set high on the bluff, you look out over the Des Moines River Valley spread below, the water threading through the trees more than 100 feet down. The name comes from the long, humped shape of the ridge itself, like the back of some sleeping creature. It is the classic view of Kilen Woods, the one that ends up on every visitor's camera. Stand here a while and let the whole valley lay itself out in front of you. From up on the ridge, the season shows its full hand. The oaks hold their rust and bronze late into the fall, and the whole valley glows in muted color. Below, the river is a dark ribbon winding between the wooded slopes. In the far distance, past the rim of the valley, the flat farmland resumes and runs to the horizon. It is a view that shows you both worlds at once, the wild valley and the tamed plain. Down at the bottom of that view lies the Floodplain Forest, the lowest and wettest woods in the park. Here, on ground that floods each spring, grow the trees that can stand having their roots underwater, cottonwoods and willows and silver maples. This is a productive, tangled kind of forest, rich in life. Deer move through it at dawn and dusk, and the river feeds it with fresh silt each year. It is the green heart of the valley we have been circling all along. Now we begin the walk back, dropping down off the high ground toward where we started. The light has shifted, lower and warmer, the way it does on a short November afternoon. Fallen leaves cover the path and muffle your footsteps. It is a good time to walk in silence and simply take the place in. The river keeps up its steady murmur off to the side, seeing us out the way it welcomed us in. Late November is a fine, honest time to see this valley. The leaves are mostly down, so the shape of the land shows plainly, every bluff and ravine laid bare. The crowds of summer are gone, and you often have the whole park to yourself. There is a bracing quiet to it, the woods settling in for winter, the river running cold. It is the park stripped to its bones, and it is beautiful that way. Kilen Woods will never be a famous park. It is small, it is far off the main roads, and it does not shout for attention. But that is exactly its gift. It is a quiet, hidden fold in the farmland, where a river cut a valley deep enough to save a forest, a savanna, a prairie, and a rare little plant. Places like this survive because someone chose to protect the ground the plows passed by. The Des Moines River we walked beside today will keep flowing long after we have gone, all the way across Iowa to the Mississippi. It carries with it the memory of this small green valley in the corner of Minnesota, the woods, the bluffs, and the ridge named for a sleeping giant. Thank you for walking these trails with us, from the first steps in the shade to the last view from the bluff. We hope you carry a little of Kilen Woods with you. Thank you for watching. Follow for more of the trails of the world.